Hello there guys, welcome to another my live video. So this is your Bournemouth versus Manchester United preview in the Premier League, Saturday 12:30 kick-off at the Vitality Stadium. So on this current video I am going to give you some team news building up to the game. Also it's very probable that I will give you my starting 11 prediction, and also when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does his press conference, which I do presume will be tomorrow, I will give more build up to the game. Obviously, I'll interpret some of the stuff that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has mentioned. He has assured something. He has given us a bit of early team news. He did actually say that Marcus Rashford and Harry Maguire should be fit for the game, because I think Marcus Rashford had sustained a problem with his knee in the 2-1 win against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, and obviously I don't think it's too severe though, so I think he should be okay. And reportedly Harry Maguire had sustained some kind of knock, but I don't think that injury is too severe. But Man United have obviously still got quite a few injuries in that. I think it's been assured that Alex Tuanzebe and Diego Dalot will not be playing in this game, because I think it's unknown when both players will be back in contention. Both players are out over hip injury. Luke Shaw, I think it's unknown whether he will be playing. Solskjaer recently revealed that he's not too far away from getting back into the team, because Luke Shaw has not played since the 2-1 home defeat against Crystal Palace earlier on in the season. But I think now a lot of Manchester United fans, maybe including me, probably believe now that Brandon Williams is a better solution than Luke Shaw at that left back position, even though Luke Shaw has been our first choice left back for several years, because now Luke Shaw is into his fifth season as a Manchester United player. Obviously, I know he's injury prone, and that is Luke Shaw, not to the same extent as Eric Bay. But I think prior to his injuries, he's had a pretty decent career with Manchester United. But I've been very impressed with Brandon Williams anyway, and I did say the likes of him and James Garner and that, can definitely earn more first team promotions at Manchester United, because I do believe they could both become successes at the football club. Brandon Williams has made now 3 appearances for Manchester United. He's only 19 years of age, and Solskjaer has praised him, for his recent performances, because he has been very impressive as Brandon Williams. Matic is still out with a minor problem, I do want to confirm. As you all know, Solskjaer did assure, this was actually in his press conference prior to the Chelsea game, that Paul Pogba is not expected back until December, so he's going to be out for at least another month. Paul Pogba's obviously had an ongoing ankle injury that's been surrounding the player for the matter of weeks. We do know that Paul Pogba has been a big miss, and we do know the energy and the creativeness he can add in our midfield. But yeah, his injury must be more severe, than we first feared. So yeah, that's very bad news. But obviously, reflects on the amount of injuries, Man United have had anywhere. We've had to make alterations in the squad. But this is a must-win game for Manchester United against Bournemouth on Saturday. Bournemouth haven't enjoyed, a bad start to the season. Obviously, they have drawn 3 of their last 4 games. And credit Eddie Howe, he has done a pretty decent job with Bournemouth. Eddie Howe has actually spent he spent the majority of his managerial career so far with Bournemouth. He's been there several years. I think he had a spell with Burnley, when he was younger. Also during his playing career, he spent the majority of his playing career with Bournemouth. I think he had a spell with Swindon and Portsmouth, but he has done a really good job with Bournemouth. Bournemouth also have got quite a few injuries, themselves. But if we can get a victory against Bournemouth on Saturday, that will be 4 away wins on the trot, because we have won our last 3 away games in a row, and that's really good. So it is good in the aspect that we are improving our away form. Very delighted about that. But yeah, we're unbeaten in our last 4 games as well. So we are in a good run of form. We are doing really well. And I think now the things that have changed at Manchester United. I think we tactically look much better. Because I think since Solskjaer has gone with this new formation, Man United do look better. So in the last 4 games or so, Man United have showed them a lot of tactical flexibility. And I did say for the majority of this season, I have been criticising Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Oh, what are you doing?
You want to shut your alarm?
Yeah, I'm going to do.
Alright.
Put my door. I have been criticising him, Mulligan and Solskjaer and that, for his tactics, so to have a lot of Manchester United fans. But for the majority of this season, you can say, we have been tactically inept. But, Solskjaer gave his, own perception on this new formation. He did say it's working really, really well, and I think we do look much better with 3 at the back and, 2 up top. But yeah, he has done really, really well for that. But I think, the performances have improved, quite recently. The performance against Liverpool, was really, really good. That was a 1-1 draw. But we should have won that game against Liverpool. That was a disappointing thing. We beat Partizan Belgrade 1-0. That wasn't the best of performances from Man United, but we still got the win. Then obviously, we beat Norwich comfortably by 3-1. I think analysing that so far this season, that's obviously, the best performance from Manchester United. And I thought, there was we showed dominance, periods of dominance in the game against Chelsea and that. So we've done really, really well in our last 4 games. And I think, the players are adapting well in these new tactics. I also want to take into account. And certain players quite recently, have stepped up to the plate. I think Marcus Rashford has been absolutely fantastic. And I do know that I've criticised Marcus Rashford a lot this season, reflecting on his bad, run of performances, obviously with his lack of goals. But in the last couple of games, he has really stepped up to the plate. But even when he was in that period, when he was putting bad performances out, I still said, he is the long-term solution for Manchester United. But I have been very, very impressed with Rashford. I think he's now scored 52 goals for the football club as Marcus Rashford. So I have been very, very impressed with him. But he was very, very good against Chelsea. Yesterday scored 2 goals. Obviously, they were both from set pieces. But yeah, I do. We've seen the Rashford, that we can see basically, because when Rashford's on form, he's good at getting them runs in behind. He has obviously got that finishing asset. But yeah, I've been very, very impressed with him. So I do credit him for that. And I think this plays a part in it as well, because since the recovery, since Martial recovered from his injury, we seem to have performed better. But we are all aware, the inspiration that Anthony Martial does add in that attacking third of the pitch, and he predominantly plays out wide on the left, but obviously he's more effective in that central position. This is why he got given the number 9 shirt at the start of this season. But Martial's already bagged 2 goals for Man United, since his recovery from injury. So I've also, been very, very impressed with him, and he's, only 23 years of age. I've also been very, very impressed with Scott McTominay. I think, he's also done really, really well, and he's been a first team regularly, this season, and, he's definitely deserved to keep his place in the team. In regards to him being a long-term solution for Man United, I have got element of concerns about that. I don't know if he can keep the consistency up, but he has done really, really well. He's played between the lines well. He's, defensive contributions being good, and I've got the same perception of Fred, of what I've got of McTominay. Fred has done really, really well in his last couple of games. He has blended in very, very well in the last couple of games alongside McTominay in our midfield. I will agree on the aspects that Man United, definitely overpaid for Fred. We paid just under £50 million to him last summer from Shakhtar Donetsk, but we have seen glimpses, of how good he can be. So I would, still give him more time at the football club. Don't forget Don't forget Solskjaer recently said that Fred will take Paul Pogba's position for a while, and he did also give his overarching view on Andres Pereira, and he actually said Andres Pereira has been developing in the last couple of games, but he actually said McTominay is obviously comparison to Fred and Pereira, because obviously he's a different type of player and all that. But I have been very, very impressed with quite a lot of players. But yeah, so I think we should beat Bournemouth, like I took into account. Obviously, we did the double over Bournemouth last season. Beat them 4-1 at Old Trafford, beat them 2-1 at the Vitality Stadium. I think the only occasion Bournemouth beat us was obviously when they first came up, to the Premier League. I think they got into the Premier League in 2015. Obviously, they did beat us 2-1 back in 2015. But I am, really looking forward to the game. And obviously now we've got to keep this good run form up. Obviously, we've got to keep winning games, because obviously, we want to keep our hopes up, for that top four, because obviously now at the moment, we're sitting 7th in the league. We are around 7 points behind Chelsea, from 4th. I haven't fully disregarded the top four, like I mentioned. Obviously, it's going to be very, very difficult for us, to get into that top four, but it's very imperative that we get that top four this season. So in that aspect, we can get back into the Champions League. But I know we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 3 decades. Obviously, reflecting back before the Liverpool game, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was under was under intense pressure at the football club. And obviously, the vast majority of Manchester United fans, wanted him out. But now, reflect on the last 4 games, maybe it's changed some of Man United fans' perceptions. Maybe they do believe that Solskjaer is the right man to elevate Manchester United forward. Solskjaer was very, very impressed with the performance against Chelsea. I actually thought, certain aspects of the game, replicated, the game at Old Trafford on the opening day of the Premier League season, when we did beat Chelsea 4-0. Because obviously, Chelsea played quite well in that game. They played expansive football. They pressed high up the pitch, and in the second half in that game yesterday, Chelsea, dominated the game. They had quite a lot of chances and that. But all that matters is, Man United did get the win. But, we've got to keep this good run of form up. We don't want to get too more excited. There is definitely, still improvements, needed. We still need to start creating more chances because, analysing it so far this season, we haven't created enough chances, to the standard, as we should be, basically. Maybe in some games this season, Man United should have won. There's certain games this season where we've actually created chances, but we just haven't been ruthless enough in front of goal. And in that aspect, actually replicates, some of last season, because last season, there was quite a lot of games where we created a lot of chances, but we just didn't seem, to have that clinical element. Last season, we only managed 53 goals in the Premier League. I think this season, so far in the league, we've managed 13 goals in 10 games, and we still know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. Maybe we slightly, look better defensively. I think Harry Maguire has addressed our defensive deficiencies, but we are all aware, that still further more investment is needed in the Manchester United squad. Definitely further more investment is needed. It was good during the summer, that, Solskjaer recommended 3 good players to the squad. We spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire. And to be fair, they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Manchester United careers. But we did address some of the problematic areas during the summer. We got that experienced centre-half, we got that right-back in. And I think now Wan-Bissaka's done absolutely fantastic at right back, and a lot of Man United fans believe, he has been our most consistent signing so far. And I think, if he continues his good run of performances up, I think, his valuation will persistently grow. But yeah, so next year, we've got to look at, getting 1 or 2 midfielders in, because I think we're missing impetus. We're missing creative impetus in that midfield, and obviously we need to add depth in that midfield. We also need a striker, because we do look very, very exposed in that attacking line. Following the dismissal of Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, and I think someone needs to come in who can assure us goals. Someone who's obviously can be effective in the box. Someone who can create chances. But I think Solskjaer's orchestrating bringing 2 forwards in next year. But I recently did say, didn't I think Man United need at least 5 to 6 more signings if we are to be back to being a competitively level football club. And, a massive rebuild is needed at the football club. And I think Man United need to give Solskjaer at least 2 more windows to see who we can recommend in to the football club, because Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. Solskjaer worked out his transfer policy during the summer, and obviously, he wanted to recruit young British players in, that can. He wanted to recruit young British players in, and that can grow and develop, which he obviously did. I think he may be still keen on sticking to the same policy next year, and that Solskjaer. But yeah, and like I mentioned, in the next, next 3 to 4 windows, Man United's recruitment has got to improve, because analysing it, I think our recruitment has been very very poor for several years. It has been very very poor as our recruitment, and I think in that aspect the blame stems from the board, because I think the board have been a liability anywhere for several years. Their poor selection of managers as well as their poor recruitment. For me, the board didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough during the summer. And, I think the board anyway did a short at the start of this season that whatever the outcome is this season, Solskjaer's job, should be safe, because I think they realised, that they didn't back him enough during the course of the summer. I also think Ed Woodward's compatible to the board, because I think he's also been a liability for several years. Don't think he's too liable. He's not reliable enough, in my opinion, to oversee our transfer business. And this is why I did say we should have recommended, a new director of footballing. And I did say that's one of the structural changes we need to see at Manchester United. And for some of our bad run performances this season, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been accountable for that. Obviously, a lot of players have obviously, you can blame a lot of players that haven't been performing to the standards as we should expect. But I think, everyone is to blame. But I think now, regarding this new formation, and everything else, and now certain players step up to the plate, I think, this could be the turning point for Manchester United. We've seemed to have turned the corner, since the game against Liverpool. It's looking like now. It's looking like with the momentum is building. There seems to be a lot more confidence in the players, and they are showing some heart and some passion and desire in that, and they're showing some urgency out there on that pitch, which is obviously very very good. Which I'm obviously very, very delighted about. But, we've got to keep this good run of form up. The Premier League's obviously the most imperative out of them all, basically. It's more imperative than the Europa League. It's more, obviously, imperative, than the Carabao Cup. But I'm actually happy because, we're now, obviously, into the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. We've obviously been drawn against Colchester, which is, you could be happy with that because it's a really, really easy tie. We're doing well in the Europa League. We're top of Group L in the Europa League. We've won 2 games out of 3 in the Europa League, so we've registered 7 points for a possible 9. So we are doing really, really well in them. Anyway, the vast majority of this squad isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. The vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, because Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players into Manchester United, and Solskjaer is still inheriting the vast majority of them players. Obviously Ryan Giggs recently come out and actually has urged Ole Gunnar he's urged Ed Woodward to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at least 6 new signings. Obviously, you got Roy Keane coming out the other week, saying that Man United. Well, he suggested that Man United, should buy Harry Kane. Obviously, Solskjaer responded to them suggestions, and Solskjaer's a big admirer of Harry Kane, but obviously, it's very, very unlikely, that Manchester United will get the pursuit of Harry Kane, to be quite honest with you. My, perception though on Solskjaer is that, I still don't believe he's the right man to elevate Manchester United forward. I don't think he's a long-term future for the football club, and I hate to say that. And maybe if this good run of form does continue to persist, then maybe my perceptions, may change, to be quite honest with you. Like I've said on my recent videos, there's some aspects of me that credit Solskjaer, like recommended 3 good players to the squad during the summer. I also, credit him, for what he did, whilst he was the interim manager in that 3-month period, because he did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. He got the players playing for Man United. We saw glimpses of the Alex Ferguson era in that 3-month period. He also exceeded expectations in that, and I credit him also for that. And I also credit him for as well, like, he did get rid of a lot of the deadwood during the course of the summer. We obviously had to get rid of a lot of players during the summer, which Man United did. Despite the fact that a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, I still believe these more problematic players at the football club, so that we need to get rid of in January and of course next summer. And I also credit him because he's obviously got a lot of trust with in his young upcoming players, and he has given the vast majority of the young upcoming players their chances this season. And like I mentioned, we've got a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve. We've also still got a lot of experienced players in the squad. I do believe Man United, we need to orchestrate on maybe loaning some of the young upcoming players out in January, because I don't think all of them are going to become a fruition at Manchester United. So if we could loan some young upcoming upcoming players out in January, that would be a good piece of business from the football club. I don't think Chon's good enough. I don't know. I don't think he's a long-term solution for Man United. He's totally comparison to the likes of Mason Greenwood, but probably Brandon Williams, definitely Alex Tuanzebe. Maybe James Garner, we could maybe orchestrate on loaning him out, despite the fact, he had a really good game against Partizan Belgrade on his full debut. So maybe maybe we should orchestrate on maybe as well, there is quite a few, like I said, that we probably, do need to loan out, like I mentioned. And I also credit him for the last 4 games. And, what I've seen in the last 4 games, he's replicating, what I saw when Solskjaer was the interim manager. To be fair, his tactics have been spot on in the last 4 games, and he's definitely got it all right. But I have, been very, very impressed. But Solskjaer needs longer anyway. Solskjaer's only been at the football club overall for around 10 months. He's been here just under a year as Solskjaer. He's obviously been permanent manager now for around nearly 8 months. Obviously since he got the job permanently, mainly it has gone wrong, prior to the last 4 games. And so obviously Solskjaer is obviously, on a 3-year contract with Manchester United. But, my element of concerns I've got about him, obviously, it's his... he hasn't. My element of concerns I've got about him that he hasn't really got that managerial experience to the highest level. So obviously you can say that's an element of concern. Obviously, he hasn't really won much. Obviously before he was at Man United, he was at Mould. He actually had a good spell with Mould. He won a couple of Norwegian titles with them and that. Obviously before that, he had a really short tenure with Cardiff. He only managed around 29-30 games for Cardiff. I think his record at Cardiff obviously has been worse than it is, that has been, so far with Man United. But he got sacked from Cardiff because obviously, he ended up getting Cardiff, relegated. But it's like I mentioned on my last video, Solskjaer insists now that Manchester United are going in the right direction, reflecting on our 2-1 win against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. It was a really, really good win. Chelsea have been in good form, really. Before that game, they won the last 7 in all competitions. Chelsea, don't forget, have got a lot of injuries. Also our record is absolutely abysmal at Stamford Bridge, but we have now beaten them, like I mentioned, 3 times this year. Solskjaer's obviously overcome Frank Lampard twice. Which is obviously, very, very good. And another thing I like, what Solskjaer's got a lot of honesty about him, and obviously, he has been aware of what's been going on this season. But I hope his tenure can become successful at Manchester United. Definitely. I hope his tenure can become successful. Solskjaer, like I mentioned, was a great long-serving player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance, and he has, actually got that proven pedigree as a player. I did pinpoint out as well, didn't I? I think, Man United have made a lot of mistakes in the last, 6 or 7 years. We've made quite a lot of mistakes. One of the mistakes was giving Solskjaer the job. That was definitely no mistake. Us getting rid of Ander Herrera was a mistake. I think Ferguson recommending Moyes in after his retirement, was also another mistake. That was actually only the mistake that Alex Ferguson, did make. So over the years, Man United have made quite a lot of mistakes. We've definitely overpaid for players, without a shadow of a doubt. Also, big money's been invested into the football club in the last 6 or 7 years, But the players we overpaid for, we definitely overpaid for Fred, like I mentioned. We overpaid for Harry Maguire, paid £80 million for him. He's the most expensive defender in the world, the second most expensive sign at the football club. But even though, we overpaid for him, I think he's done really, really, really well. He's enjoyed a great start to his Manchester United career. I think we overpaid for Lukaku from Everton back in 2017 because obviously we paid £75 million for him. Lukaku did enjoy 2 good seasons. Well, 1 good season at Man United, but he obviously enjoyed 2 seasons at the club. But he only had 1 good season out the 2 year. When he was here. But Lukaku, some people will also say that was a mistake letting him go. But obviously he had to go, Lukaku, because obviously he initially lost his place in the team. Because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's preference was Marcus Rashford ahead of Romelu Lukaku. But I think he's doing now well for Inter Milan. But Lukaku's pedigree in the Premier League was very, very good. You know, I know a lot of people had element of concerns about him, you know, regarding his first touch, and he's a big game bottler. He's obviously very, very slow, but he's doing now really, really well for Inter Milan. But I'm happy with the money we generated from his departure. You know, obviously we got around 70 odd million. So we basically recouped the money that we did pay for him from Everton back in 2017. But we did overpay for him, definitely, at the time. You could arguably say now we overpaid for Paul Pogba because, we paid £89 million for him. We have definitely overpaid for him. So yeah, we've overpaid for quite a lot of players over the years, and I think around £700-800 million has been spent at Man United in all the managerial eras since the Ferguson era. So that's just under £1 billion, and that's not taking into account what was spent under Alex Ferguson. But like I do keep mentioning, always spending big on players, getting them Glasgow players doesn't always guarantee you success, and that's been proven with Manchester United in the last 6 or 7 years. We've been a toxic club for the last 6 or 7 years. Let's obviously be honest about it. But Solskjaer is aware of the expectations. He does have to exceed at the football club. He does have to exceed at the football club. I said at the start of this season that our expectations this season will be to get in the top 4. Despite the 3 signings that we recommended in during the summer, I still expected Manchester United this season to not win the league or mount any kind of title challenge up. If we can get the signings that we want in the next couple of windows, and we can get the right, caliber players in, like I've just mentioned, then I think Man United, can be a future title contenders. But I don't think we'll be winning the league for at least the next 3 to 4 years now, because it is a long rebuilding process. I think our aspirations will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons. But if we could get the top 4 this season, then obviously that's going to create a platform, and it's going to give Manchester United something to build on, But I did say, reflect on the size and the potential of this football club. We should be much more of a commanding position, than winning now. Than winning now. But, we haven't won the league, since 2013. That's nearly 7 years now we haven't won it. And the last time we won it, obviously, it came in Alex Ferguson's last season. But I've also, been frustrated with the lack of silverware in the last 6 or 7 years. We haven't really won much, in the last 6 or 7 years. We didn't win out under the David Moyes era. We won the FA Cup under the Louis van Gaal era. We won the Europa League and the League Cup under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously, that came in his first season. But we've got to start now. Trying to challenge for silverware and that, and trying to win silverware, because I took into account, didn't I, regardless of who our manager is, I don't think we're ever going to replicate what we did under Ferguson. No one's going to ever invoke Ferguson's legacy, and definitely Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, will not invoke Ferguson's legacy in that. But also take into account, we recommended Ferguson in 1984 from Aberdeen, and he didn't win out in his first 4 years, so he didn't settle in straight away. Look what he accomplished after that 4 years. We had 20 odd years of success under him. We won 38 trophies under Alex Ferguson. And that he controlled the transfer policies, the contracts. He developed a lot of young players. But like I do keep mentioning now, we're not in the Ferguson era. We haven't been in the Ferguson era. We haven't been in the Ferguson era for almost 7 years, because this is now this is a different era now with different groups and different players and that we are building. So we'd also take that into account. I think this is also good as well because it's actually a rarity. We've got a statue, of playing a lot of the young players, and a lot of teams, don't go with that kind of stature. So that's obviously, a rarity, like I've just mentioned. But Solskjaer has been assured, that he will be giving money to spend in January. But I said I think we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. I think we'll, look to sign, we'll look to sign 2 players in January. Then obviously, we'll look to build on that. But I think we'll probably definitely be spending another substantial amount. I think we'll probably be looking to spend 250 or 250 million more upwards, to be quite honest with you. Even though already a substantial amount's been spent at the football club. Like I said, Solskjaer spent nearly £150 million during the course of the summer. Yeah, and that. So we'll get on now with the starting M11 prediction, for this game against Bournemouth. We'll get on with the starting M11 prediction. He'll make a lot of alterations in the squad. He'll make quite a lot of changes, from the 2-1 win against Chelsea. So yeah, David De Gea will be back in goal, obviously. Obviously, he always plays in the Premier League because he's our first choice goalkeeper. I'm not sure what formation he'll go with. Will he go with a 4-2-3-1? Will he revert back to the 3-4-1-2? Like he played against Chelsea. Will he go with a 3-5-2? Will he go with a 4-3-3? So these are a lot of options. What Solskjaer could go with, but he could actually stick with three at the back. To be quite honest with you. But he may go with a 4-2-3-1. I'll probably say he'll go with a 4-2-3-1. So we'll go with David De Gea in goal, like I said. I'm Wan-Bissaka at right back. I did say my starting 11 prediction would be coming later on in the video, earlier on, didn't I? But I'm Wan-Bissaka at right back. Centre back partnership, Lindelof and Harry Maguire, as usual. Left back, I'd love it to be Brandon Williams who gets the start, but I presume it will be Ashley Young who plays at left back. Obviously, due to the amount of injuries he's had this season, especially due to especially with the fullbacks, that have been out. Obviously, Young's been given more chances. And I don't think Luke Shaw, will be available for this game. So I probably presume it's going to be Young. Don't forget Dalot's obviously still out with injury. I think the midfield will definitely be McTominay and Fred. They've done really, really well together lately. I think the three attackers, you've got to probably say, Daniel James probably on the left. Maybe Rashford on the left. But I will go with Daniel James on the left. In that number 10, I don't think Juan Mata will get it. Maybe Pereira could get it, but we have got quite a few players that can fulfill that number 10 role. Pereira's played in it, Mata's played in it before, Jesse Lingard's played in it. I'm going to go with probably Andres Pereira in that number 10. So James on the left, Pereira in the number 10. Who should go on the right? Marcus Rashford could maybe go on the right. Who could go on the right? I'm going to go with Marcus Rashford on the right. And then, we will go with Anthony Martial up top. So that is my predicted 11, for this game against Bournemouth. So I'll go through it again. De Gea in goal, Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Ashley Young, McTominay, Fred, James, Andres Pereira, Rashford, and Anthony Martial up top. So that is my starting 11 prediction for this game. Like I said, I don't think Solskjaer's done his press conference yet, as far as I'm aware of. I'll go check now just to make sure. But if he has already done it, I think it's tomorrow he's doing it though. I'm going to give you, his current press conference reaction, as we always do. We're building up to games. Yeah. Yeah. So that's everything to update today, guys. Drop your comments, likes on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I will be back with more live videos tomorrow. See you soon, guys.